Before I continue, I would like to say the name used in the presentation is not my interviewee's name and was only used as an alternative. The developmental stage that I chose was stage 5, identity versus identity confusion. This stage can be described as a time in the adolescent years where exploring and development a sense of self happens. Difficulty in this stage causes confusion about who you are. Significant life experiences in Brenda's life. At 14, Brenda became bulimic. Brenda began idolizing stars on TV and wanted to be like them. Brenda also felt like she wanted to look more like the people on TV so that others in school would like her. At 16, Brenda was also raped. Brenda no longer trusted or wanted to be around others. And Brenda also tried erasing the memory and saying that it never happened to her. According to Piaget, through Brenda watching and idolizing women on television, she accommodated or changed her existing schema to what she thought women should look like, thus becoming bulimic to fit the image. I also used Freud's theory to apply to Brenda's rape. Brenda was not able to mature sexually because she was raped. Brenda did not become fixated on the genital stage, but developed the defense mechanism of denial to try to cope and deal with what happened to her, saying, I erased it from my memory. Challenges Brenda faced was trying to fit in or figure out where she belonged. At school, she tried to fit in with the popular kids, but was continuously rejected. At home, she was the youngest of 9 children, 5 of them being girls who never really wanted to be bothered with her. Um, all of these things caused Brenda stress, and she began cutting herself. Cutting is a form of non-suicidal self-injury. Studies show that identity synthesis and confusion were significantly related to both negative and positive effects of NSSI. Brenda did not successfully move through the formal operational stage. The formal operational stage is defined as abstract thinking, considering multiple aspects at one time through logical thinking and strategic planning. Um, had Brenda been able to successfully move through this stage, she would have been able to use logic and abstract thinking and know that cutting herself would not remove the problems that she was experiencing or relieve any of the stress that she was having due to the issues of not being able to fit in with others at school and at home. Accomplishments Brenda did have is that she finally told her mother about her rape, and she was able to get counseling for it. After telling her mother and being able to get the counseling, Brenda was able to work through some of the issues that she had surrounding the rape and her self identity, and then was able to join a local dance team in her neighborhood. Based on Freud's theory, through telling her mother and counseling, Brenda's conflict was brought to her conscious, so no longer was she able to use that mechanism um, of denial to erase the memory from her mind, or push it as far back as she could, nor allow withdrawal and not wanting to be around people or trusting people that she knew was able to be worked out through the counseling. Psychocrisis. The psychocrisis during adolescence is identity versus identity confusion. It is during this time where adolescents are trying to figure out who they are and where they fit in, through trying out different roles and integrating them to gain a sense of oneself. Um, Also, difficulty integrating roles into their own identity will cause confusion about who they are. We see this with Brenda when she's idolizing the people that she sees on TV and wanting to fit in to the groups at school, thus cutting herself and becoming bulimic to fit image. Um, Trying out these rules to see if they fit uh, for her, but ultimately for her cause more conflict than resolution. Biosocial factors. Um, Religion is a biosocial factor for Brenda. She was raised in a Christian household where it was believed that you take all your problems to God, and all you need to do was pray and things would get better. Gender was also an issue for Brenda. Being a girl, she constantly worried about how she looked, um, and wanting to fit in with the other groups of girls at school and wanting to make herself look like what she saw on TV. Culture was also a factor for Brenda. Um, it is within her culture, um, and in the Black community, where you typically don't discuss your issues at home or get help for them. Um, so when Brenda was raped, she didn't feel like she should have told anyone or um, needed to tell anyone because of the culture in her own home. Ethnicity is also an issue or factor for Brenda. Also, being raised in a Black family, it was believed that you didn't need to go to the cops or seek therapy for anything. Again, going back to religion where you just prayed on things and hope that they get better, and the cops weren't seen as a figurehead to be able to help you. So you just left the cops out of it and didn't get them into your quote unquote business. Poverty was also an issue for Brenda. Living in a family of 9 children, uh, her dad wasn't there, and it was just her mother who constantly worked. So she didn't have enough time to pay attention to what was going on at home all of the time. So when Brenda was raped, for instance, her mother wasn't aware of the rape. She wasn't aware of the changes that was going on with Brenda. She wasn't aware that Brenda was cutting herself or uh, Brenda was bulimic. She didn't really pay too much attention or wasn't able to pay too much attention because she constantly was trying to provide for her family and keep her family afloat. According to PJ, the factors that have facilitated the biosocial crisis could have changed Brenda's schema and how she viewed things, thus allowing her to respond in the ways that she did. So Brenda could have believed in things one way, but those factors of religion and culture and what her family believed, she kind of ultimately took those on into her own schema and allowed them to alter or change the way that she thought. So going, to her mom, telling her initially what happened to her wasn't an option, or not cutting herself wasn't an option, or, becoming bulimic wasn't an option because she adjusted her schema to the things that were going on around her. The oppression that Brenda's family have faced contributed to their thoughts and beliefs on the cops and religion. Brenda saying, "My mother did not believe in calling the police, and our business was our business." So the oppression that her mother faced growing up in an area where there was segregation, and you know the cops weren't friendly, or blacks didn't feel as if the cops were there for them. Once that passed, still they didn't want cops in their business, and that ultimately affected Brenda. Uh, Also, Brenda's mother developed her own defense mechanisms of projection, blaming all of their trouble and their situations to the oppression that they once faced, and not really wanting to deal with the issues that Brenda was having or contributing to any other factors that was going on in Brenda's life. Brenda telling her mom about the rape began to change things for her. It was like a weight was lifted off her chest, because her mother reported the rape. The person that was responsible for Brenda's rape was put into jail, thus allowing Brenda to feel more safe. Um, and Brenda's mother also allowed her to go to therapy to kind of cope with some of the issues that she was having with trying to fit in at school and making herself look a certain type of way, and the issues that she experienced because of the rape. Thus, allowing Brenda to go to therapy, and through therapy was where she was able to become aware of the defense mechanisms that she had created, and was able to find ways to relieve those, and to change those defense mechanisms so that she can learn and can grow, and still be able to have experiences that will allow her to learn more about who she is and who she wants to be. I also use Cobook's theory of moral development to apply to Brenda's life and some of the experiences that she faced. Applying Cobook's second stage of moral development to Brenda's life, we can see it was at this stage why she was fixated on how she looked and the images that she saw on the media. It's in this stage where role conformity is really big, and it's really important, and she valued the opinions of others, which contributed to the behaviors uh, that she started. So her becoming bulimic was a part of role conformity and valuing the opinions of others. So not that anybody told her that what she saw on the TV or the girls at school was, how you were supposed to look, but when that's all you see in the media, um, and that's all you see at school, one can only think that that's how you should look or how you should be. And when Brenda wasn't able to successfully be able to look like those girls and still be able to fit in, it caused her to cut. So all these social experiences and expectations that were placed on Brenda, and what she saw and what she experienced, ultimately contributed to those factors. So theory limitations, I chose Piaget's theory. Um, Piaget's theory state at each stage there are new cognitive developments that take place, but does not take into account for things that may not take place during that stage, or if a person does not develop at the same rate as outlined in the stages. Sometimes, depending on your experiences in life, I think those psychosocial factors should be considered when determining someone's cognitive development and how they move and grow through each of the stages. These are a list of all of my references. And thank you for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.